John's like,
not
that's
saying
a
that
whole
it's-
can of
I'm not-
worms I am not willing to open.
I'm not saying these are perks, but I am saying it's something they offer.
See, it's kind of like, oh, that's not a bug, it's a feature. No, motherfucker, that's a bug.
Damn.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Anime Club After Dark, the podcast that delves into all things anime, manga, and otaku culture related. I'm your host, Alex, but you can call me Senpai, and joining me tonight, we have our Chivalry of Shotas, Shotaro.
Oui, baguette.
And our Czar of Source Material, John.
I just feel like we should put show at the end because we could never trump whatever he says.
No, you're absolutely right. We're never going to be able to top anything that he comes up with because he actually, you don't know this, well, maybe you do. He actually has a list of intros that he writes out and prepares.
Oh my god.
You don't want to look at this list. It's full of shit.
How do you decide what's going to be the new intro?
Whichever one is the least shit.
It's just...
And the most topical, usually.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right, so tonight, the three of us have gotten together to do something that John has kind of wanted to do for a while, and that is to actually have us sit down and review anime streaming services.
Yeah, so a couple months ago, I was like using Crunchyroll's mobile app, and like it was like 3 a.m. and I couldn't get stuff to work, and I just was like, I went off, like in the public chat, I just fucking went off about how shit it was, and I was like, hey, you know what we should do? We should review anime streaming services, guys.
If you have trouble with anger management, do not use Crunchyroll.
Yeah,
Just to let you know.
Freaking
Yeah, that's
Crunchyroll.
that is what we're doing tonight. And yes, if you were on our Discord server, you saw this tirade, and it was very entertaining. But I think it's probably good to say up front that there are 4 specific services that we are going to be reviewing tonight. They are Crunchyroll, Funimation, Netflix, and HiDive. If you guys actually do want to listen to our reviews of other streaming services like Amazon Video or Disney Plus or
Hulu.
What else out there has anime? HBO Max?
Hulu?
Yeah. We might do a follow-up or a second part to this where we review other streaming services that also have anime on them.
Yeah.
And I think it's also fair to point out that for the reviews that we did not focus on certain applications. So we mainly we actually entirely focused on PC, aka desktop applications, and mobile applications. So for things like phones or tablets.
Yeah, because it just would have been really hard to... Do you have a smart TV? How many consoles do you have? Because each console is slightly different for their apps. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to review it on a Switch, you want to review it on a PlayStation, shit like that. I just was too much at the time. Like, maybe in the future it's a project that we could undertake, but honestly, I'm like 99% sure that most people use the browser or use the app version anyway.
Yeah, the mobile app.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like you say, if you guys want to hear our thoughts about certain like console applications for these streaming services or things like Amazon Fire Stick or Apple TV or whatever, I mean that might be something we could indeed do in the future, but that's kind of outside the scope of what we're going to be talking about tonight. So we've limited our reviews to browser-based applications and mobile applications for our reviews. So do you guys want to go ahead and get started?
Sure.
Yep.
All right. So the first point I want to look at for each of these services are their different pricing and packages that they offer. So, John, you had the dubious distinction of actually reviewing two of these services, Crunchyroll and Funimation, because Natai was originally supposed to join us, but he could not.
Yeah, and the Crunchyroll one, whew, I have a lot to say about Crunchyroll, man. I thought Alex's deep-seated hate of Crunchyroll was unjustified, and then I started using Crunchyroll's mobile app after like so many years. But I think the most important thing, obviously everyone cares a lot about the pricing and the packages. Like, that's just kind of, you know, if you're going to subscribe to a monthly streaming service, you're going to want to know how much it costs and what you get, right? And Crunchyroll has 3 levels, and they're all monthly subs, so you got to pay every month. And it's the $8 package is called the Fan. There's a $10 package called Mega Fan, and an Ultra Fan package called, or a $15 package called Ultra Fan. And each paid tier is ad-free, which is something that some other services may or may not offer. Like, I know Hulu offers a ad service for the cheapest price, so you still have to watch like a couple 30-second ads. But for Crunchyroll, at least you don't have to watch any ads. Other than the shitload of ads they throw on their web pages advertising like all their shit, but whatever.
And their store.
Oh god, dude. But other than that, you don't really see ads, like at least no inserted ads to your viewing pleasure. And it also comes with manga now. So all the tiers come with manga. I remember Crunchyroll has changed their pricing and their models so often. I've been a member for the longest time since they went legit. I've been a member. And they used to have different services. Like, manga used to be the plus tier, where you would have to pay a little extra, but you could read manga. And they also used to have, like, TV dramas, like Japanese dramas. They don't have that anymore. I wouldn't say, like, anything above the basic $8 package is really not worth it. Because now, with the 3 tiers, like, basic, intermediate, and premium, they don't really offer you very much in terms of like services. Like, I think if you get the most expensive one, the $15 one, you get like an annual reward bag and you get discounts at their Crunchyroll store, but that's about it.
And it's important to point out that's only if you live in North America. You cannot access this outside of North America.
Yeah, it's an NA only thing. And then I believe the intermediate tier does allow you to do offline viewing. So that's something to consider because, you know, offline viewing is kind of the best tech we have right now, for especially like if you're going to go on a 16-hour plane ride, you know, you don't have access to Wi-Fi on some flights, or it's going to be super expensive to try to stream anime, and it's going to be super shit trying to stream because the Wi-Fi you have on planes isn't that good anyway. So offline viewing, you know, it's kind of an important thing. So I recant my statement. I'd say the Mega Fan package is probably the most worthwhile just because it has offline viewing, though I have things to say about that.
All right, what about Funimation?
So Funimation, it also has 3 tiers, but it only has 2 monthly tiers, and then it has a year package. So there's a premium tier, which is the $6 a month. There's a premium plus tier, that's $8 a month. Then this premium ultra plus tier, that's $100 a year. And it costs the least because you don't have to pay, you know, obviously, was it $8 a month times whatever math? You save
12.
Yeah, 12. Maths. You save a little bit if you pay for the Ultra. Plus, you also get like the swag bag every year. You get like exclusive invites to Funimation events. I do know that they offer like this. You can scan like a code if you ever go to a Funimation booth at any event, and you can get free shit. So that's cool. I don't really know if it's worth it because, I mean, what are they going to give you that's worth your money, you know, for fucking $8 a month or $100 a year, whatever. But all the tiers are ad-free, which is great. And you also need to subscribe to the Premium Plus tier, the intermediate tier, to get offline viewing. And you also get more like simultaneous streams. So that's something that Funimation does have a limit on. I believe the basic tier only comes with 2 simultaneous streams, and then the intermediate tier comes with like 5. And I think it's unlimited if you get the Premium Plus, and that's about it. Like, it's cheaper than Crunchyroll, which is kind of cool, but at the same time, I don't know, man. Like, I don't really like that there's a streaming limit to how many people can watch at the same time. Like, as far as I know, Crunchyroll doesn't have that. It doesn't state in their pricing and packages how many simultaneous streams you can have. I know I've watched with 3 other people at the same time before on different devices, and it hasn't been a problem.
Yeah, I don't think there is, or if there is, it's a ridiculously high number.
Yeah, I haven't hit the limit yet, so.
I remember like a long time ago not being able to simul stream on Crunchyroll, so they may have changed that.
Yeah, because they have changed so much of their pricing and their policies and all this other stuff, and it's, they're just trying to, I guess, adapt to the new streaming services world.
I guess. I mean, I know that I've run at least 5 concurrent streams on Crunchyroll before, and it hasn't said anything. So obviously, it's higher than 5.
Higher than 5. We know this.
All right, Sho. What about Netflix?
So Netflix does not have a free tier. It has 3 monthly plans, which are all ad-free. The first plan, basic, is $8.99. And then the second tier is standard for $13.99, and the premium, which is the last tier, is $17.99 all per month. So the only difference between the tiers is that one, you get higher quality video. I think you only get 480p on the basic. You get 720p on the standard, and you get 4K on the premium. They just skipped 1080. 1080, no one
480,
wants
480p? Like, what is it for the people, like the 5 people that still have CRTs?
that. 4K.
He's talking about
for the basic
tier.
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't know who would choose basic. I don't know why they even include that plan, because that's not even an option, really.
Yeah, 480p. God, what are we in, like 2010? Jesus.
Honey, maybe if you watch on mobile, even then, you don't.
I
do
imagine
480p.
watching that on a 4K monitor and the monitor upscales it. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
honey.
So I
Um,
know that Netflix recently updated their pricing model too. Like they added an extra $1 or 2, I think, to all the plan prices. I remember getting an email about
Yeah,
it
yeah,
from my
I remember
Netflix.
that.
So
Yeah.
damn, Netflix is. Maybe I should cancel Netflix.
Oh,
I don't use
damn.
it.
But yeah, you can also, with the higher tiers, you can stream on multiple devices. The basic one you can only do 1 device at once. Standard, you can do 2 devices, and premium, you can do 4 devices. Yeah, I would personally recommend the standard because, like, obviously, only because of the video quality, because you need more than 480, and I don't really care for 4K, so I'm fine with standard. And yeah, that's the plans for Netflix.
All right. Well, I did a high dive. High dive simplifies all of this. You have 2 tiers, monthly or yearly.
Okay.
They both offer the exact same thing. So you get the same thing no matter which you choose. So you get it. The monthly plan is $4.99 per month. I think we haven't said this yet, but all these prices are in US dollars. I assume.
Yes.
Okay. I know you live in Canada, so I don't know if these were Canadian dollars or not.
I switched it to Canadian, and they showed the same numbers, so I'm not entirely sure what's
okay.
going on.
Interesting.
Sorry, I switched it to US. Sorry, whatever.
But anyway, the monthly plan is $4.99 per month. Yearly plan is $47.99 per year. So if you do the quick math on that, if you actually buy the yearly plan, you're actually saving 20% off per month across the course of a year. If you actually get the yearly plan, both plans are ad free. They don't actually have a free option with ads on High Dive to watch, but you are allowed, even if without a subscription, you are allowed to browse their entire catalog to see what they have without signing up first.
Which
I
don't think
go ahead.
I don't think you can do that on Netflix, or at least you didn't
No.
used to
I
be.
don't believe you can.
Netflix is you got to pay to play. Like otherwise, you can't see anything.
Which I thought was so stupid, but whatever.
And signing up automatically grants you a 30-day free trial. I don't know for a fact, but I know that Crunchyroll and Funimation both used to give you 2-week free trials.
I don't
know if they still do that.
I don't know. I know that a lot of people post like 7-day guest passes on comments for videos, and
Yeah.
there's some like whole deal with that. But I mean, yeah. You can still browse the catalogs for both. You can see the simulcast and what they got scheduled and stuff like that. But because they offer free services, if you want to watch it, you can watch it with ads. And also, it's like, I believe on both of them, all the episodes that are free are a week late.
Yeah.
Which isn't
Or a
that
week
bad,
later
honestly.
than the premium or the paid subscribers.
Yeah,
get them,
paid
yes.
subscribers get the anime like same day it airs in Japan. Like for Crunchyroll, it's the same, like an hour after it airs in Japan, you get it subbed in English.
Yeah. But then you have to wait an extra week, sometimes 2, I think, on Crunchyroll.
Because sometimes they have a cancellation, so then you have to wait like 2 weeks, and it's the worst. Fucking. But
All right. So the second point we all looked at was the catalog, specifically how big the catalog itself is. Is it anime only? Does it offer anything else besides anime? So what do you got for Crunchyroll and Funimation, John?
so for Crunchyroll, it is just anime and manga. The anime, it's mainly Japanese dubs with English subs, but they do have different sub languages. I'm not sure how fast those get put up. If they might be put up at the same time as English, because that's kind of like Crunchyroll's selling point, right? They say you get anime 1 hour after it airs in Japan. That's like their biggest selling point. The catalog for Crunchyroll is pretty big. It still does have a pretty hefty amount of shows, but it's definitely not as big as it used to be. They've lost a lot of licenses so far, mainly to Funimation, but we have the merger upcoming, so maybe they'll get all their shit back. And there's also the manga to consider. It doesn't have a huge selection of manga, but it does have like Attack on Titan, and that's pretty popular, and it has a handful of other mangas that are kind of interesting. Funimation has anime only, and a lot of the anime Funimation has is in actually English dub. Like I was looking at Kakashi Goto, and it has, I was like, oh look, they stream Kakashi Goto, they have the license for that. It's only the English dub, no Japanese, and I was like, what the fuck? So Funimation has a lot of dubbed anime and OVAs. That's something we don't see a lot of. Like OVAs don't typically get aired. Like those are like special Blu-ray packages stuff. You don't really see them in streaming services nowadays. I think it's kind of changing though, because everyone's kind of just going to streaming services instead of bundling with DVD packages, or at least.
Oh yeah, it's because OVAs used to be offered as part of like manga bundles.
Yeah.
In Japan, and now that's kind of going away, like you say, mostly because of streaming services.
So yeah, if you want simulcast dubbed anime, Funimation's your go-to. They have a lot of English dubbed. I personally don't like English dub that much, so it's kind of not for me, but it does have a beefy catalog. It's Funimation. They have like a shitload of licenses, dude. The ones that they used to share with Crunchyroll and they don't anymore. So they took all of it.
And they also have some legacy licenses too.
Yeah, one.
Like they still have Dragon Ball and a bunch of other older shows.
Yeah, so both services do have beefy catalogs. You definitely will find stuff to watch.
So
All right.
Netflix has a very broad selection of content, which includes Western and international films and TV shows from literally every country. Well, not every country, but like a really wide variety of countries. Live action and animation. But specifically their anime catalog is pretty limited compared to Crunchyroll and Funimation. They have like some big titles, but a lot of their big titles are just like only the first season, and they don't have a lot of current airing anime.
So I remember there was a statement from Netflix, right? Like I think last year or 2 years ago, where they're like, we're gonna spend a shitload of money acquiring anime.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure how good they made on that promise, because I don't watch anime on Netflix. If I do, it's reruns of stuff I've already watched.
They've
but
definitely,
I believe they own Beastars right now, right? Season 2 of Beastars.
Yeah, they're the exclusive streamer of Beastars outside of Japan. Like anywhere, not just North America, anywhere.
But oh yeah, I love that Netflix does have a huge selection of international films. Like you can see like Chinese films, or if you want to watch French films, stuff like that. It's actually really cool.
It is really interesting because there's not a lot of platforms where you can get these really niche films from these countries where the film industries aren't as large as like Korea or America. But yeah, the actual, I mean, they do have some current shows, like they had the exclusive rights to like Great Pretender, Carol and Tuesday, Devilman Crybaby, but those are far and few in between. They have some exclusives like the ones I just listed.
And let's not forget the second season of Takagi-san. They didn't bother to license the first.
Honey, this is a problem not just with Netflix, but with a lot.
No,
of
you
these
literally go on there and it'll say
streaming
Takagi, like teasing Master Takagi-san, and it'll say underneath it Netflix exclusive, but only the second season. They only have the second season.
Yeah, and the big thing about Netflix is that they don't simulcast the anime that they do acquire. A lot of the times it'll be airing in Japan and it will not be on the Netflix website until like a number of weeks or a month after the season is over. That's when you get the Netflix release, which can be extremely frustrating.
Yeah, especially if it's a show you've been looking forward to and like you have to wait till the end of the season. And fuck you,
mean
if
like
it's
Beastars?
2 seasons, dude.
Oh god.
If it's a 2-season anime or a 24-episode anime, good fucking luck. You get to watch it half a year later.
But on the flip side, when Netflix is like directly involved with the production and they have like the actual exclusive rights to it, they do release it all at once at the beginning of the season. Like I know they did that with Devilman Crybaby. So there's a good and a bad with that. Another really good thing about Netflix is that all of their shows have a really wide selection of dub and sub languages. So that's really inclusive of them. Although I will talk about, I do have some problems with their English subs.
Me too.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's the same problem.
It is the same problem.
You know
Josh.
what? Me
okay.
too. I think we all three might have the same problem. All right, so High Dive is definitely the newest of the ones that of the services that we reviewed. High Dive was only launched back in 2017, so it's only been around for a few years. Of these 4 that we reviewed, definitely has the smallest catalog. And so High Dive is essentially a streaming service for Sentai licensed anime. That's really what it was created for. Now, obviously, Sentai's works aren't all exclusively on High Dive. They are in other places, too. But sometimes Sentai stuff is only exclusively available on High Dive. I know that's really, really weird.
Who owns High Dive?
Sentai.
It's a Sentai streaming service.
Sentai Filmworks, yes.
Oh, okay. That makes sense, I guess.
But, so really, unless it's been licensed by Sentai or one of their subsidiaries, you're probably not going to see it on their platform. But it is the only place you can go to see certain stuff. I'm going to be talking about it a little bit later, another point that I'm going to be making. For certain older anime, it is really the only place they are legally streaming anywhere outside of Japan. Something else they do offer, I think this may be relatively new for them. They offer a small selection of live action titles from Japan as well. A lot of these are somehow anime or manga tie-ins, like there'll be live action versions of an anime or a manga. So they do have that. Of course, they're all subbed. And I mean, they do have some dubs on their site as well. They also, like Funimation, they have their simul-dubs. I forget what High Dive calls them. Dubcast? Dubcast, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they do have that as well. But like I say, their catalog is definitely the smallest of all the streaming services out there currently.
Well, I mean, since they are relatively new and it's Sentai exclusive stuff, so I guess you can get away with that. Plus, it's not that expensive anyway, right? It's like what, $5 a month?
Yeah, it's $4.99 a month, or basically $48 a year.
Yeah, and Sentai has pretty decent films, so I might check it out. I might actually, after this, check it out. Sentai, please sponsor us.
I love Sentais. I love their Blu-ray packages, even though they are expensive.
Oh,
they're very well put together. All right, so the next point is how easy it is to actually navigate their catalogs. So, John?
So I put this in here because I remember using Verve. Is Verve even still around? Do people still
Yes, it is, and High Dive's actually on there now.
Oh, God. So Verve had a shitty UI for browsing the catalog. It didn't have an option to check, at least when I was using Verve like a year or two ago. You couldn't check simuldubs or simulcasts. It was all in like alphabetical order, and that was it. That's all you could do. And I was like, what? I want to watch seasonal anime. It's like, no. We don't do that around here. Like, fucking Verve. So for Crunchyroll's mobile and desktop, the UI is old. It's like, it looks the same as it's been in the last 5 years. It has not changed. But the search function it's archaic, but it works. It searches like relevant posts and stuff if they don't have the title for the anime that you're looking for. And it'll actually like show up, like if you write the English title or the Japanese title, it'll show both. So that's kind of useful. It has tabs for simulcast, alphabetical, popular genre, and even seasonal anime, which is like, you would think this is a basic function that every streaming service would offer, but it's not. I don't know why they don't think this is a basic function all streaming services should have, but it's not. It's not standard. Fucking Verve. Funimation is very similar to Crunchyroll, where it has a very basic, like, friendly UI. I would say the desktop app specifically is not as intuitive because it's older, like drop-down menus, and it's not tabs, like in one page where you can see all the tabs where you can just click on it and it'll swap over. So that's like kind of the difference. The mobile apps are very similar though. They have the same functions. I don't like Funimation's mobile app because instead of like, it has a weird format where instead when you click on a link, it'll like slide over to a new tab, but then to go back, it slides backwards, and sometimes it glitches out. And then you're like, what the fuck? And you got to flip your phone a couple times to fix it.
Oh my.
So it's kind of shitty in that regard. At least Crunchyroll's mobile app is a lot better in that aspect. Though Crunchyroll's mobile app is still shit, but that's for a different feature. I'll talk about that later.
Oh no. Well, yeah, Netflix on browser and mobile they're very functional. They work as they are intended. They have a search function, which is functional. They have a lot of different genre categories. Their like homepage is reorganized depending on the algorithm. So at the top of the page will be the shows that are most relevant to you, and that recommendation system I find pretty turns up pretty relevant content. And then you think so too, or?
Yeah, I would agree because every time it's like, hey, since you liked watching this show, what about these shows? And you're like, oh, that looks kind of interesting.
That does look, yeah, exactly. I'm like, I would like that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like, it's annoying because it's kind of like the YouTube algorithm where it's like you watch one show and then it's like, hey, since you watch this, watch these other ones. But at least for Netflix, you have the like or dislike options, so it will turn up relevant content as long as you like or dislike stuff as you watch it.
I see.
That's dangerous though, John, because you see what happens if you watch one clip of a VTuber.
Yeah, then
you're fucking sucked in.
Oh no. It also Netflix reorganizes the order of genres on the homepage to make the more relevant genres to you higher up on the page. So
yeah, like if you watch a bunch of like sci-fi action, then it will put sci-fi action stuff more on the top.
It also has like a category for the recently added to Netflix and a category for like the currently trending most popular, which are all like algorithmically generated. So the whole idea of an algorithmically generated UI has its pros and cons, but I would say for the most part it's helpful for Netflix.
Yeah. All right. So High Dive has pretty much a lot of the same things that have been listed already here. They have a basic search function. It offers autocomplete. Just after you type in the first 3 characters, it brings up a list of whatever it thinks you're typing, and it updates that after every character you type, which seems to be common in search functions anymore. At the top of the page, at least on the browser version, it has simulcast dubs, series, and movies, each accessible by separate tabs. And then you can browse the entire catalog all at once, but you can sort them by category, by genre, by audio, and by subtitles. And the audio is by like the audio language, and then subtitles by subtitle language. It's also very easy to tell at a glance, at least on the desktop, what anime they have that they offer a dub for, because there's a little stamp at the top that says dubbed. And it's also easy to tell what's exclusive to their site because there's a stamp at the top that says exclusive. Also, the mobile app has none of this.
No.
We'll get to it when we talk a little bit more about the mobile app. Like the mobile app, High Dive's mobile app sucks. Now I don't know if it's because of what I actually reviewed it on, because the only mobile device I currently have is a Galaxy S8 Plus. That's my phone. That's my everyday phone that I use, and that's what I reviewed it on. I don't know if it's just the Android app that sucks. I never got around to using anything Apple-based, but High Dive's mobile app for Android just sucks.
Honestly, it's so stupid how little these companies focus on their mobile app when, as a streaming service, that is like a major component of your business. I don't understand why you would not develop more of it.
I don't either. It genuinely feels like their mobile app was made as an afterthought over the course of like 24 hours.
Yeah, that's just very unfortunate. Like me myself, I use mainly PC browsing and I'll use mobile occasionally, but for the most part I'll use my smart TV or my consoles. So I guess it depends on the market. I feel like mobile isn't as big as we think it is anymore, just because like who really needs to watch 20 episodes of something on the go? It's a very specific like reason. So that maybe that's
if you travel a lot, I could see it being good, but
I mean, I just prefer it, like, even at home, to just watch it on a tablet so that I don't have to, like, sit at a desk and watch anime.
That's fair.
See, I usually just bring my laptop onto my bed and prop myself up and watch it there.
I prefer to watch it on TV. If I'm going to be sitting for a while, marathoning stuff, I'll watch it on TV.
Yeah, I guess for me it depends on more how much time I have to devote to this. Like, if I'm only going to sit down and watch one episode, yeah, I'll boot my computer up and just watch the episode sitting up in my chair. But if I'm going to sit and binge watch a show, yeah, I'm going to lay down somewhere and watch it.
Yeah. So, given how diverse everyone is, like, that just might be why they didn't put too much funds in allocating to the mobile app specific. They made it...
Maybe.
But, I mean, you should at least make it bearable on... At the minimum, make it bearable.
All right. So, do these streaming services offer anything special? John.
So for Crunchyroll, really the only thing special about it is the fast subs, and it does have different types of subs. It's not strictly just English. I do know that they do Spanish, German, French, stuff like that. And it has a rotating discount on merchandise, but I feel like Crunchyroll and Funimation do that, so it's not really special. It's just something they're trying to make more money off of you, really. Like, all of it's going to Crunchyroll regardless. It doesn't matter how much of a discount they give you. They're getting all your money. And also, Crunchyroll offers the manga app. Like, you have to download a separate app to read manga. The manga app was always buggy for me, and I hated using it on my phone. It works fine on PC.
Yeah, I can't use it on mobile either, which I hate.
Yeah, it's like the worst. That's about it for Crunchyroll's features. For Funimation, it's dubs, dude. It's the land of dubs. If you want English dubs, go to Funimation. It has simulcast dubs. It has hella fucking things just licensed in English dub. That's really all they got. And also, you know,
they
Funimation.
have some of their dubs that come out like a day or two after it airs in Japan, which is amazing to me.
Yeah, the simulcast dubbed stuff that they have, which is
great.
great.
Dubs, yeah.
But I mean, I feel like a dub, it's just this very small and niche market where, like, I'd say a good 80% of anime viewers want Japanese dubbed English sub, right? Like, am I crazy here?
I mean, there's
I
I
feel
think
like
there's definitely a
you're
market
right.
for it,
Mhm.
but like a lot of people get into anime because of dubs. Like I wouldn't
That's
have gotten
true.
into anime at all because if it weren't for dubs.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
my family that aren't necessarily too into anime will watch with me if it's in dub.
Yeah. So
By the way, I don't know if this counts as something special offered by the streaming service, but I guess you could also say that Crunchyroll also offers both a award show and convention.
John's like,
I'm not
that's
saying
a
that
whole
it's-
can of
I'm not-
worms I am not willing to open.
I'm not saying these are perks, but I am saying it's something they offer.
see, it's kind of like, oh, that's not a bug, it's a feature. No, motherfucker, that's a bug.
Damn.
I agree. I'm just saying it is offered.
I guess, but I mean, it's not something I care too much about. Actually, it's not something I care about at all. Like if it
Yeah, it doesn't
if it
really relate to
existed,
the
it didn't get
streaming
offered,
service.
I would care no more, no
But
less.
don't you care about
It's funny though because there's Crunchyroll is a streaming service, but you can't actually watch their award show that they stream on other services. You have to watch some other service to watch their own award show, which makes me laugh every time.
I'd also like to point out that Crunchyroll took a long time to get rid of fucking Flash Player and go to HTML5, and
Yeah.
it was the worst experience, like, in the world, because it was like, this is super outdated, it's super janky, it doesn't load all the time, and it's just super buggy.
And it's riddled with security flaws.
And it's all, yeah, that's why we don't use Flash anymore. But it just took them so long to finally move to HTML5. Like, I have Firefox, and I had to install an HTML5 player just so I could get Crunchyroll to fucking play its videos
Yeah,
on the web.
same. I had to install HTML on Chrome to get Crunchyroll to play.
So
its videos properly.
that's a negative, I would say, to anything they could offer, that they're kind of slow to adjust with
But,
the
like,
times.
I guess, but that's only in its past, right? In its current iteration, it does have HTML, so
Yeah. Yeah, everything's fine now. It's okay now.
But the transition period from Flash to HTML5 was a bit rough.
oh,
Yeah,
it's
that's
super
true.
rough. But yeah, so Netflix offers a very wide variety of shows in that not only does it have Japanese live action and anime, but it has that for a whole number of countries. So when you buy a subscription from Netflix, not only are you getting anime, you're getting a whole lot of other content, which I would say is the main appeal of Netflix. It also has, like I said, subs and dubs in a number of different languages. And for a few particular shows, or rather for a few particular anime, it will release all of the episodes at once at the beginning of the season, which the other stream services do not provide. But for shows that aren't anime, they're all released, all of the episodes are all released at once. So that's great for those shows as well.
Yeah, Netflix
Great
has
for people
always
who want to
been
binge watch.
Yeah, Netflix has always been like the binge watching model. They have not strayed far from that model at all.
Yeah.
Which is kind of good. Like, yeah, it's shitty to wait for anime, but I'm also the type that likes to binge stuff anyway. Like, fuck waiting weekly. Like, I'll wait until it's all out, then I'll watch it.
Definitely
So really-
depends on the show for me, but like in general, I definitely agree with you. I prefer Netflix's model. It's just that their transition of their binge watching model into the anime industry has been super rough because they take a compromise where in certain countries it's binge watch and then in Japan it's weekly. So if it was globally binge watch, it would all be fine. No one would care. But the fact that they're doing it weirdly is annoying.
I also feel like if they actually, because sometimes it takes a season and a half, sometimes 2 seasons to get this fucking thing out on Netflix, and by that time everyone's moved on.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they just released it, if they were going to commit to this whole binge watching model, if they just released it at the beginning of each season, most people wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, but then that crosses into the territory of, well, if everyone watches it in the first week that it was released, no one's gonna remember to buy merch at the end of the season, right?
It doesn't really matter when you release it. You can release the beginning and whenever you want. Just don't have it airing in one country and then it not airing in another country.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a form of I would call that a form of soft region blocking.
I mean, Netflix has problems with region locking as well, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
All right. So High Dive is, again, it offers subtitles in almost a dozen different languages for almost all of its newer titles. Some older titles don't really have them, and maybe they may have them in 2 or 3 different languages, if that. A paid subscription with either plan will give you the ability to create 3 separate profiles, similar to how Netflix does it, where like each person in a family can have a different profile, which is nice. And it also gives you the ability to set parental controls on individual profiles. So like if you were a parent, say you had your own profile, and then if you had a kid, you could give them their own profile and set parental controls on it, because High Dive does have some more mature anime on it, so you might not want young children to have access to that. Speaking of which, the service itself does pride itself on offering quote-unquote uncensored home video editions, that's what it calls it, of all of its content. So by and large, you're going to get the same uncensored, unfiltered content that you get on the Blu-ray versions. So some of its seasonal anime are also put out as what they call dubcast. As I said before, it's very similar to Funimation's simuldubs, although I don't think they get them out quite as fast as Funimation does their simuldubs. Usually it takes 3 or 4 days, it seems, although some of them do come out pretty quick. Another selling point, at least for me in particular, is that High Dive is currently the only place you can legally stream some older anime. Some good examples of this would be Battle of the Planets from the 70s, Big O from the 90s, and the original Legend of Galactic Heroes from the 80s and 90s.
The Big O, dude. I haven't seen that in a hot minute. Oh, God.
It's good, though. And this is something I didn't realize until I actually went in and poked around in there. This service also offers a decent selection of anime that's aimed at, like, young kids. Like, I mean, 4, 5, 6-year-old kids. That's not something you see a whole lot of on, like, Funimation or Crunchyroll. You might see it on Netflix a little bit, but I've never really seen. First of all, I've never seen them really like tout this anywhere, and I don't see a lot of other streaming services taking these up as licenses. So that's cool to see. I mean, anime for young kids. One of them I actually watched the first episode of was called CEO Cute Executive Officer. It was hella cute.
The heck?
Something else that Funimation has started doing this as well. It's High Dive doesn't shy away from offering OVAs on its platform. I don't know what it is about Netflix and Crunchyroll, but they seem to be allergic to OVAs in movies.
I think because it costs so much extra to get the rights to it, since usually they are in bundles. They're in manga or DVD or Blu-ray bundles.
I guess. Well, luckily that's changing, and it's nice to see. It is something that you can find on High Dive too. There's a number of series that they license where they will also license the OVA for streaming.
See, I would argue that OVAs aren't too important, but I just watched Baccano, and you need to watch the OVAs.
The OVA is super important there.
Yeah, if you don't watch the OVAs, then it kind of ends up being a shittier anime. Because compared to like other OVAs, like Slime Tensei's OVAs that I just finished watching because it just finished airing like last 2 months ago, like
something like that.
Those OVAs didn't matter very much to the story at all. They're just like side filler character stuff that honestly, it doesn't worsen the story, but it definitely doesn't contribute to the overall like factor of how much I like Slime Tensei. But for
they were fun,
other shows though. Yeah, they're fun, but most of the time OVA episodes are like the beach episodes or bullshit episodes, right? That's why I don't feel like
the beach episode, the onsen episode, whatever.
Yeah, like it's always like the stuff that you don't really care about. It doesn't really add or subtract to your enjoying of watching the seasonal anime.
Yeah. All right, shall we move on to ease of use?
Yes.
All right, so how easy are the apps to use, John?
Crunchyroll's mobile and desktop UI is very simple. It is actually extremely easy to navigate on both versions. I have no qualms with it. Search functions, how to organize, all that, beautiful. Funimation mobile's app is similar to Crunchyroll's, where you have tabs, you go to different tabs and you can search and all that shit. You can see seasonal, you can see updated, you can see whatever you want to see. The desktop is not as fluid because it uses drop-down menus instead of tabs, which I hate because I'm like, fuck, I have to go to a drop-down menu every single time I want to change to a different genre, or if I want to organize it by simulcast, or I want to organize it by this or that. That's just annoying to me because I'm like, why would you steal the features from Crunchyroll's mobile app but not steal the desktop app? Crunchyroll cannot be the king here. Funny. God. Anyway, other than that, no, it's not the worst. I've definitely had worse. Verve is the worst in my opinion. But yeah, it's easy to use. Easy enough for Funimation's desktop app.
So Netflix, like I said, has a UI that is algorithmically generated, which, like I said, it's very intuitive. So if you're that kind of person, it can be very easy for you to find the shows that you want. But at the same time, it can also be very confusing because a lot of the time you're not going to be able to find the same shows at the same place on the site twice because they'll be constantly reorganizing. And like the genres will be like reorganizing the order. It's like your watch history is going to reorganize the recommendations. So if like you saw a show that you liked and you didn't quite remember to like add it to your list, good luck trying to find it again if you don't remember the name.
Yeah. And they also have that issue where they keep changing the fucking screen, or not the screen, the profile picture of the titles to like a different screenshot of the show or the movie.
I didn't notice, but yeah. That can be confusing as well.
I noticed.
You're like, oh, I noticed.
I noticed.
But despite that little weirdness, I would say it is relatively easy to use. There's, like I said, there's definitely problems with it. And I would say that the UI is very unconventional because it is really algorithmic. But
yeah.
I would say, all in all, relatively easy to use.
I'd say Netflix's UI is perfect for someone who's like, you don't know what you want to watch.
Yeah.
And you just want to just give into the algorithm.
Uh-huh.
But if you're someone who, like you said, you found something you thought you might want to watch, like Detective D, and then you watch like The Legends of the Architect or something, and then it'll fuck up all your recommendations, and you won't see Detective D again, unless you remembered it was called Detective D.
Yeah.
So for High Dive, their desktop service is really intuitive, easy to use. They kind of went with a minimalist approach for the design, and I kind of like it. Everything just has its place, and it's always there. Things are by default listed alphabetically, which is nice. You can change that if you want. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's easy to use. The mobile app, not so much. It's just awful. It's awful.
All right. Well,
that's all I got. So, how appealing is the actual user interface?
So for Crunchyroll and Funi on both platforms, on both mobile and desktop, they're simple. It's a very simple UI. It's not very impressive in terms of features, though. Like, everything in my mind that they have is just basics of modern apps, like skip, rewind 15 seconds, next episode. It'll track the episodes you have watched. And as far as organization goes, it's pretty standard. Well, it's standard to me. It should be standard to everyone. But it's not impressive, but it works.
Netflix also has a skip rewind of 10 seconds. Unlike Crunchyroll and Funimation, it offers the option to skip the intro and outro of your anime.
Which is phenomenal, by the way, for binge
watching.
watching.
It is so helpful. I would totally agree.
I can't... Of all things people have not stolen yet, why haven't they stolen this feature? This is like the best feature Netflix has.
And like,
I feel like some really intelligent person figured this out at Netflix, and they're like, we're gonna pay you like $1 billion to never leave and sell this idea.
and a really cool little feature is that if it doesn't give you the option to skip the outro, that means there's an after credit scene. So a lot of people can get frustrated because like an after credit scene is like in the middle, like episode 7 there's the after credit scene, but like the rest of the show doesn't have it. So it's like, how am I supposed to know? I just went to the next episode. Well,
Yeah, this would have been great for something like, I don't know, fucking ReZero.
if you watch it on Netflix, you'll definitely see the after credit scene. One super annoying thing about Netflix, at least for me, is that when you browse through the catalog, like the UI just automatically starts playing trailers, which is just so mind destroying for me, because I'm just like, oh, this looks interesting, and then all of a sudden like 10 people start talking, and I'm like, no, I don't want people to talk in my face. I'm just trying to look at what I want to watch.
Yeah.
Stop
I
shoving
think you can
it.
actually go into your profile and change that. There's a setting where you can change where it doesn't autoplay the audio.
You can just
Yeah, you
manually
can mute the
it.
audio.
Yeah, I do manually mute it, but it is also very confusing. But like, again, with this sort of
First time that happened to me, that scared the shit out of me, by the way.
I know.
Because I didn't. It was right after they implemented that, and I was browsing, and it started. I was scared the shit out of me.
But like for some people, or like occasionally, it's really helpful because you don't have to click through 5 different buttons to see a trailer. You can just hover over it, and if you wanted to see the trailer, it's easily accessible. But most of the time I don't want to see the trailer, and it's too easily accessible, so it's a bit too much in that aspect. Also, Netflix does not allow you to manually select the video resolution, so you can't like force the video to what resolution you want, which is a bit annoying, which I believe you can do with Crunchyroll.
Yeah, you can force on Crunchyroll and Funi. You can force it to be 1080p.
Yeah.
You can do that same thing on High Dive as well.
So that's a bit annoying on Netflix. And I was gonna talk about it. Like I said, I have a problem with some of the English subtitles on Netflix because
Me too.
they use
Same.
the English subtitles for the Japanese dub. For when you're watching it English dubbed, they will use the subtitles they use for the Japanese dub. And that means that the things that they're saying in English verbally do not match up with the written script at the bottom, which for the most part isn't a problem for anime because I watch in Japanese dub anyway, but for a lot of other shows where I watch in English dub and I like having the English subtitles on at the same time, it's really dumb. But the entire catalog isn't like that. It's just a few shows.
Yeah, I had the reverse problem where they would use the English subtitles for the English dub and the Japanese like subtitles. So
I
if you
see.
watch it in
The
Japanese,
issue
it'll
is
take the
that for
English subtitles.
a lot of stuff on Netflix, they only offer one set of English subtitles.
Yeah, and
And it's either going to be the subtitles that were created for the Japanese dub or the English dub. There is no in between.
yeah, and it's just why? God damn it! Like it bothers me so much, especially when they change the script. You know.
And you can hear
And
it.
I know, and I know a little bit of Moon, so I know that they didn't say certain things.
Yeah.
It's
Especially
the
when
worst.
like in the English dub, when they do it where the subtitles only match the English dub, where for the dub they'll put some kind of cultural reference in that they're clearly not talking about in the Japanese dub.
Yeah.
Annoying.
That's kind of annoying.
yeah.
So there's a feature that you didn't mention that I kind of like about Netflix, where if you continually skip an intro or outro, it'll automatically do it for you.
Really?
Like after a couple, yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
if
I
you-
noticed. Yeah.
So that's something that I really appreciate because it's like, oh, I don't have to manually click skip intro on the 5th episode of binge watching this show. It'll just automatically go to the first like second of the start of the show. That to me is amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Technology.
No, just props to the dude who invented this skip intro outro button, dude. Like, it's genius.
Genius.
Keeps people wanting to binge watch.
Indeed, and it saves you time.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think about it, like in an anime, an OP and an ED are both roughly 1 minute and 30 seconds long. So if you skip both of them, there's 3 minutes you saved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now we just
That adds up over the course of 12 or 24 episodes.
Now we just
Well, it's a
need to-
23 episode show, but 3 minutes of it, it's actually OPED, you know? So
Yeah.
Now we just need a skip recap button, and we're all good.
Yeah.
it does have that
It does.
on Netflix.
Oh.
Netflix does have a skip recap button.
Damn.
Okay, yeah, occasionally it will come up with a skip recap button, especially if like the first, I don't know, 3 or 4, if only like the first 2 or 3 seconds is going to be recap, it doesn't do it, but
Yeah.
I think if the recap itself is longer than like 2 minutes, it offers the ability to skip the recap.
When does skip filler come?
Never.
Damn.
Because you can never get away from filler. So, like both Netflix and Crunchyroll / Funimation, High Dive does offer the 10-second fast forward and rewind options on their player. They also have the ability to change video quality on the fly. It can go anywhere between 480 and 1080, or did I say 4? Whatever. Standard definition and high definition. You can also set it to auto, where it will automatically adjust for whatever your current internet speed is. You can also, again, on the fly, change the speed of the playback, so you can make it go slower or faster. I don't know why you would ever make it go slower, but I can understand why you would make it go faster. You can also change the audio and or subtitles you are currently viewing. You can also change the color of these subtitles right in the player. You have a choice of 2 colors, yellow or white. I don't know why you would ever want them yellow, but okay. There's also a lights out mode, which basically will black out the rest of the web page, leaving only the player so you can focus on it. I mean, if you're a masochist and you don't want to watch it in full screen. What else? That's pretty much it. Now, of every single thing I just mentioned, the mobile app offers one of these things. The ability to change audio and subtitles. That's it. The mobile app offers none of the rest of this. You cannot change the color of the subtitles. You can't change the video quality. By the way, it's locked at 1080p. So if you have a shitty internet connection, or if you're on a mobile internet, you're fucked. It doesn't offer 10-second fast forward or rewind. Doesn't let you change the speed. It does nothing except let you play, pause, change the volume, and change the subtitles.
It really feels like it was an afterthought, man. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
that's exactly why I said that. But yeah, that's High Dive. So, do any of these services offer any unique features on their apps?
So, for both Crunchyroll and Funimation, if you get the intermediate package, you have offline viewing, which is, I think that should be standard nowadays. It's kind of like, a lot of people don't have internet everywhere they go. So that's just me, though. Maybe it's not a standard package, who knows? But I know that I tried using it for Crunchyroll. You can't offline view on desktop, obviously, because you got to be connected to the internet anyway to use it on desktop.
Not if
And I
you're
also
on a laptop.
What? Oh yeah. Well, I feel like it's because it's to try to avoid people pirating the episodes on desktop.
Yeah, because I know exactly what I would do. I would play that thing and then use OBS to record my fucking screen.
We here at Anime Club After Dark do not condone the pirating of anime. FBI, please arrest
Ahoy!
Alex and only Alex. But Crunchyroll lets you bulk download all the episodes on your mobile app. However, this is where my fucking rant comes in. I had this issue where I tried to bulk download all of Snafu Season 3, and it's like 12? 13? 12.
12 episodes.
12 episodes, and first of all, it wouldn't download them in order. It downloaded them in a random ass fucking order. Like, I got first episode downloaded was like episode 7, then it was episode like 5, then episode 9, and I was like, dude, what the fuck? And also, if you leave the fucking app menu, it stops the downloads. So if you have it running in the background, you may or may not have to go back and re-download it. And also, it doesn't partially save your downloads. I'm talking really fast because I have a lot of points to make about this, and we're at an hour mark. So, if your download stops, you have to restart the download. It doesn't save your progress. And at most, I could only get 3 episodes to download at the same time. And what's the point of offering me a bulk download button if I can't download them in sequential order that I want them, 1 through 12, and also fucking save your progress of your downloads in case it does not work? Like, that's so dumb. How the fuck? And I had to worry that if I was watching an episode, like, you can download them in the background while you're watching other anime episodes. Oh, you can do that. No, you fucking can't. Because if it stops downloading, you're fucked, and you got to go re-download it.
That sounds like absolute hell.
It was. I was pissed off for hours. This is why I made the fucking rant. This is why I made this episode. Because I had to talk about this.
By the way, how fast he was talking was exactly how fast he was typing.
Yes.
Well,
So
I would
then-
say... Go ahead.
Well, I got it. I got Funi's mobile app. It doesn't have a download all button, so you have to tap each one individually. But at least it didn't fucking stop downloading in the middle. And when I went to go download something in the background and watch a different episode, it didn't fucking stop. I didn't have any issues. And also they on Funi's app, it actually has a on your device tab that you can look through, so you can see what episodes you do have downloaded, which is awesome. It's really good.
All right. Show.
Well, I would say Netflix of all of these platforms has the best mobile app. It allows offline downloads, and you can also offline download on the Windows Store. So you can technically offline download on PC if you download the Netflix app on the Windows Store, but you cannot offline download on the Netflix browser. So whatever, I don't know what Netflix is doing with their lives, but whatever. The mobile does allow bulk downloads, which I'm pretty sure I've done that before and it's worked pretty well. But if you're on the Windows Store, you only do once. You can only download per episode, which is weird. I don't know what's going on there. Some great things about Netflix is it remembers where you left off in a show. If you left at like 12 minutes, you can come back at 12 minutes. But a really annoying thing about Netflix is it does not have a watch history. Once you're done watching a show, it disappears, and you'll never see it again. And
Unless you get that stupid tab that says, hey, rewatch these shows you've watched before. That
Oh
rare
my
tab
God.
that sometimes pops up, but it still doesn't have your entire list of shows you've
yeah,
watched.
it's so annoying. For me, who has like the memory of a goldfish, I would appreciate Netflix telling me what I did yesterday, because I can't tell that myself. But yeah, Netflix does allow you to manually add shows to your like list, which is what it's called. It's basically their favorites or whatever, or their queue. Like I said, it has a great recommendation algorithm. It also has multiple profiles, like Alex mentioned, and each particular profile has its own particular algorithm to recommend different shows for your different people that use your account. So that's really cool.
All right. Well, in addition to not having something like a being able to download your stuff and watch it offline, because HiDive doesn't do that.
It doesn't do anything on mobile.
Well, I'll get to that. One of the two unique features, or I guess 3, I guess. So HiDive offers this live chat feature, which say you're watching an episode of an anime, right? What you can do, there's a little button on the bottom on the to the left where it says like live chat or chat now, or I forget exactly what it says. But once you do this, it will open up a menu on the right side of the screen where you can open up a chat room and watch along with people. You can invite people, or people can just randomly join and watch along with you. So, in theory, I think this is a good idea, especially if you were doing like a watch party with, say, a Discord server or, what have you. In practice, I don't see it being used very often, and it certainly wasn't used very often on the website, because there's actually when you're just regularly browsing around the site, you can actually sort by live chats that are currently open. I looked 6 different times over the last 2 days, and I found exactly 0 people using this function.
I mean, because you're trying to watch a show, like
Because no one uses HiDive in the first place.
Because no one uses HiDive, yeah. First of all,
There's no population.
honestly, I like doing watch parties. I loved watching anime together with friends, like especially like seasonal anime, because then after work, one of my friends we'd watch together. It was fun, but
I'd love to start doing it on our Discord server.
I mean, it's always hard to plan it out, you know.
I
But
know.
it's a function that honestly I can appreciate. I don't know how I feel about watching it with random strangers because, you know, if you've ever been in a live chat before, there's, you know, trolls and stuff and people throwing spoilers out in the comments like what the fuck,
So
stuff like that.
if you do this live chat, is everyone in the live chat at the exact same part of the anime as you are, or are they just all watching the anime at some point?
I'd love to answer that question for you, show, if only people would use the fucking feature. I could have answered that if I could have found anyone using this feature.
Okay, fair point.
But the option is there, and I can see the idea behind it. I just don't really think it's the most practical feature. But and this does seem to be unique, at least amongst anime streaming services. Each anime on their site does include a link to that anime's respective mal page. This is their, I guess, attempt at doing mal integration, which is something they announced they were going to be doing last year. I forget exactly when.
I remember this. We talked about this.
Yeah. It's an interesting feature because basically in one click you can go straight to the mal page for it and find out, you know, all the information you could really want that mal offers
Now,
for that.
wasn't
said
there a
anime.
feature that if you pause at a specific part where, like, let's say a specific voice actor is speaking, it would link you to that voice actor?
I think that was the idea behind it. As far as I can tell, they haven't integrated that yet, if that's still the plan. I do know that on like Amazon's Prime Video Player, that actually does happen, except it's IMDb, not mal.
See, that's a feature that, honestly, it doesn't really add much, but I appreciate it quite a lot.
Yeah,
I would appreciate that.
I do too.
If I could get that in services I use.
But I do like the idea. It's just, you know, one click, you're already on the mal page, and you can find out, oh yeah, this character was voiced by this person.
Yeah.
Almost every anime does also include links to where you can buy the Blu-ray versions of said anime on Sentai's online shop and merch if it is available. And you don't have, I mean, it's literally just a one click and you're there at the item that you're looking for.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. They do tend to integrate their shop into as much stuff as they can. I mean, it is Sentai. It's kind of what they're known for, is their great Blu-ray packages. All that being said, the mobile app offers exactly 0 of these features.
Damn.
I hate the mobile app. It's so bad.
Well, for $5 a month, what do you expect?
True. All right. So, overall impressions. Pros and cons.
Crunchyroll is expensive. The catalog isn't what it used to be. Region lock hell. There were a couple airing shows that I wanted to watch that we didn't have the license for in North America, and I was like, what the fuck? Is this what it's like to be like in Germany? Because it's
this third world country called the United States.
well, I mean, but the mobile app performs very poorly in function, and there used to be subtitle customization. I remember it having this when it was still in a Flash player. It doesn't have it anymore on HTML5. You cannot customize the size or the font.
How does HTML5 work?
Apparently Crunchyroll doesn't know, man. Because I can't adjust the subtitle size or font, which is kind of annoying. It's like, I feel like that's a basic feature that all streaming apps should have. For fuck's sake, Hulu has it, and it's beautiful. You can choose different fonts, sizes, the opacity. Like, it just customizes it to how it fits to your eyes. Because I remember using, at least for Hulu, their starter, like, subtitles was horrendous. Hurt my eyes. Couldn't read it. So it's great that they offer that. Netflix doesn't do
for
that.
someone like me who has really bad eyesight, I definitely appreciate that.
I'm not too picky,
Pros.
so.
I'm very picky with my subtitles. Like, anyway, Crunchyroll has a pretty big catalog. Subs are lightning fast. It has decent quality. Like, I know I just spoke really well of Hulu, but holy shit, does Hulu not stream in 1080? It streams in like 720 or 480. and it's pretty shit. At least Crunchyroll allows you to do 1080 on the web. On the mobile app, it sometimes downgrades you, so it's not the best, but I guess it still works for the most part. I believe there's a whole like different thing about packages and data and phone services and for 1080p packages, stuff like that. I don't really know too much about it. I just remember hearing about that, where you would have to pay like a premium media package if you wanted 1080p streaming on your phone, because net neutrality is dead, and this is
Sounds
what
like bullshit to me.
It is a bunch of bullshit. For Funi, the catalog isn't giant either. Most of the shows that they do have is kind of B-rated, similar to like Netflix, where they're more quantity than quality. And some licensed shows are in English dub only, which, like, what the fuck, man? I'm not a Japanese dub purist, but I want Japanese dubs most of the time.
Imagine how do you sell this to like an executive? So there's this show that's gonna air, right? But we're only gonna license it for dubbing.
Only English dubbing, too.
Genius.
And unlike Crunchyroll, you only get English subs for Funimation. You don't get any other type of subs. Maybe you do. At
Fucking
least
racist.
that was like 4 shows that I streamed on Funimation, so I didn't see any other options other than English and Japanese. So that's kind of shit. Funi does let you change your sub size and the font, albeit only on the desktop site. You can't do it on the mobile app, which is fair. Not a lot of mobile apps let you do that. And it's not that expensive for the free basic package.
Yeah, the biggest problem with Netflix is that it does not simulcast. I think that's the biggest complaint everyone has with Netflix. Also, their anime catalog is pretty small. And again, they don't even pick up that many seasonal anime. A lot of their content is region locked, which I'm sure there's a problem with a lot of different platforms. I've already spoken on my problems with their UI, which can be a bit confusing, how it's algorithmically generated, and there is no subtitle customization for Netflix.
And that's the most surprising thing for me. With all their other features, like, that seems like the most basic thing they can implement.
It is probably pretty simple for them to implement. I don't know why they haven't implemented it. But the great thing about Netflix is that it has the most diverse catalog out of all these platforms, with lots of good non-anime and non-Japanese movies and television shows, as well as also having anime on it. So it's a good variety. And like I've said before, the dubs and subs come in a lot of different languages. So the subs may not be always the best quality, but they are there.
All right. So for High Dive, it has a pretty small catalog compared to all these other sites. And I mean, I guess you could say that's definitely a hit against it. Although, again, its price is not large, so that kind of makes up for it. Only a handful of titles on the site are region locked. These do tend to be either the older shows or the live action stuff that they have. Not a whole lot of their anime that they have is region locked. Maybe a handful at the most. And by that I mean like literally 5 or 6. And it is the only place currently that you can stream some older anime, like the ones I mentioned before, like Big O, like Legend of Galactic Heroes, and the like. So, not a whole lot going for it currently, but it's got room to grow. So that being said, if we had to give all of these applications and streaming services a rating out of 5, with 5 being the best, what would we give them?
For Crunchyroll, I'd say it's a solid 3 for the desktop. Like, it's functional. It's not terrible of an experience now that they're on HTML5. Mobile is just a stinky 2. Because, god damn it, your only feature is your download all button, and it doesn't work. What the fuck?
I would give mobile a 1. It's literally unusable for me. I don't even use it anymore.
I mean, I can still stream certain things, and I feel like you're right. It should be a 1, but I'm gonna give it a 2 because it hasn't been all bad to me. Funi earns a solid 3 for both of its apps, both of its platforms, desktop and mobile app. It's not bad, not a bad experience. Just a couple UI issues on the mobile, to be honest, and the fluidity of the desktop app. But overall, I liked it. Better than Crunchyroll.
Yep. Netflix is a 4 for the desktop and the mobile, mostly because I really enjoy the variety that it offers from all these different countries, even though the anime catalog is rather small, and the issues that I have with it are relatively small compared to what it offers.
All right. So for High Dive, I give the desktop site a 3.5, mostly for this limited size of its catalog, at least currently. The site itself runs really well. It's pretty fast. The UI is intuitive. You have a lot of options for subtitle languages. And I see that there's a lot of room to grow this, especially if Sentai were to branch out and really be aggressive with the licenses that they try to acquire. Mobile app is shit. It's a 1. The mobile app is straight up cancer.
I mean, you can rate it a 0.
Damn.
Okay, it's a -1.
Oh wow, okay. They should be paying you to use it.
Yeah, they should pay the users to use it. In fact, no, they should just kill it in a fire.
Oh,
Like, if this is the best you can do, just don't have it. Do you know what this is not indicative of how it runs, although it kind of runs okay. All the pictures that they use for the anime on there, they're not sized right.
Oh no.
They're very blurry.
Oh no.
Anyway, yeah, it's shit. I mean, the mobile app is just kind of a lost cause at this point. They just scrap it and try again. So yes or no? Are all these services and or apps worth getting?
Well, before we do that, for the High Dive mobile app, maybe it'll get better because Funimation's mobile app got way better. Because I remember back in the day when it first came out, it was fucking terrible. Funimation's mobile app was the worst. It didn't have any of the features that basically looks like Crunchyroll now. So there is hope, my friend, for High Dive yet. But
like I say, I do see a lot of potential in this platform.
I'm just saying, like right now, currently in 2021, the mobile app might be shit, but maybe in a couple months they'll decide to reform it, like they did with Funimation's mobile app.
Probably.
So, Crunchyroll app, it's great for anime viewing. The region lock hell and losing a ton of the licenses over the years does make the library thinner than it used to be, but for the most part, it still has a huge catalog of shows, and it has like a random button, even if you want to just watch random anime. I don't know who'd do that, weirdos, but I definitely stick to the lowest tier, given how fucking jank the offline viewing is for mobile, and I honestly don't use it that often anyway, and the one time I needed to use, it failed me. So it's not worth shelling out 12 fucking bucks. Stick to that $8 tier, my friends. Funi is a great choice for dub lovers, like English dub lovers, not so much for anything else. It has a slightly worse UI than Crunchyroll, but you can still customize the font, which is it's important to me. Like I don't know how important it is to other people, but it's important to me that I can customize the font and the size of the font and like opacity and shit like that. And at $6 for its lowest tier, it's honestly a really good deal for the catalog. Like, it's Funimation. They have a lot of legacy licenses, and they still have a lot of shows. Like, sure, it may not be that impressive, and sure, some shows might only be in English, but they still, for $6, it's not bad. After the merger, though, hopefully they combine both of the libraries and becomes better. I don't know. We're still holding out for that, so maybe we'll
let me ask you
it.
something. Would you prefer the merger is definitely going to happen. If they do combine the catalogs, would you rather them both of the apps and services still be available, but just have the whole catalog on both services, or would you rather it be combined into one service?
I want them to integrate all of it, like Funi and Crunchyroll. They partnered up once where Funimation took all the dubs and did simuldubbing, and they just let Crunchyroll use some of their licenses for Japanese streaming, and
yeah, and it was great.
It worked. I want them to bundle both of the packages into like $13 for Crunchyroll and Funimation, so that way I can have both. But I mean, I don't know. The logistics behind it is like, well, wouldn't it be better to just use one app? You wouldn't have to run two different apps, have two different things to work on at the same time. I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna run.
All right.
Well,
show.
for Netflix, I would recommend it. Mostly for the non-anime catalog. It has a lot of like hidden gems and really niche content that can be surprisingly.
Like the Queen's Gambit, you should definitely watch it if you haven't. I said, like the Queen's Gambit, you should definitely watch it if you haven't.
Oh yes, although I wouldn't necessarily call that niche content, but that's a really good show. I definitely recommend it. However, if you're the kind of person who only watches anime, it's probably not worth the price. Like $13 for their anime catalog, probably not worth it. But if you're more open to more diverse content, I would definitely recommend it. And I definitely recommend the standard package for 720p viewing. Like I said, the 480 and 4K to me isn't really worth it. And the catalog actually updates really frequently because they're not just beholden to anime seasons. So like every few days they have new content that will be algorithmically fed to you depending on what you like. So you can get a lot of different content frequently updated. So that's really cool.
All right. Well, for High Dive, given its lower price compared to the other services, I would definitely recommend it, specifically for two people in general. I would recommend it for older anime fans like myself who are looking to stream some older shows that aren't available anywhere else to legally stream, or to anime fans with young kids, because they do have those anime that they license that are geared specifically for young kids. Because of its small catalog and its absolutely abysmal mobile app, I cannot in full faith just generally recommend this. However, I do think that with an increased catalog and an even just barely improved mobile experience at its price point, it's a great service.
Yeah, I've definitely, after listening to the review for High Dive, I definitely feel like giving it a shot, just cause.
Yeah.
Like,
I have decided that I am going to keep my my subscription at least for the winter season for one very specific reason. They are carrying redo of Healer, and I want to see how this shit show pans out. I so want to see how this shit show pans out.
And that's what's gonna cause High Dive to finally collapse.
It may,
and they've already said
it really might.
They've already said that they're going to be doing one of the uncensored versions.
Oh,
so
no.
All right.
There's going to be titties.
Yikes.
Sad titties.
High Dive, what are you doing?
Crying.
You're going to get hashtag canceled.
Titties.
Yeah. It's going to be great. I can't wait to see this steaming pile of shit just crater into the ground. And with that, thank you all there for dropping in to listen to us. Yeah, definitely. If you actually enjoyed this and you do want us to review other streaming services, like I said at the outset, definitely let us know, because I think we kind of enjoyed doing this, and it was good to actually see these side by side. Good idea, John.
Yeah, I mean, it's always like, sure, they offer trials and stuff to sign up for all these streaming services so you can experience it yourself, but I do like hearing honest reviews of services before I buy, just because, like, you know, my experience might be different than yours because of different issues, because everything's so diverse.
Yes. So check the description below to find links to Anime Club After Dark on Twitch, on social media, and on Discord. Check out our merch store and our affiliate links as well. Any purchases you make there do really help us out. With that, I have been your host, Alex, and I will see you next time. Say goodnight, everybody.
High Dive, please sponsor us.
So we never asked the most important question, is whether you prefer orange, purple, red, or blue.
Oh my god.
I prefer purple. Because it's the color of the eggplant emoji. What about you guys?
Jesus Christ.